Nah. Hello and welcome to Friday evening, the day after the night before, and we don't want to talk about what happened the night before unless somebody has something exciting that happened, but even then I don't want to know what happened. Anyway,
No.
It's Ask Sid, weekly program where you can ask me anything you want, Tottenham related that is, and we'll get straight into it and we'll ask and answer the questions that you ask. So you ask, Sid will answer, hopefully. Anyway, moving on. Tonight we've got Mike Hotspur Hustler with me, and we're going through all the questions that people are posing, and let's see what people have got to say. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. I only caught yesterday's. It was yesterday's game. I only caught the last 20 minutes. So some people might say I was quite fortunate, but
you're lucky. You had the blessing, mate. They were looking up from you from the above, and because I saw your text and you're like, "Are we playing today?" And I'm like,
"Yeah,
come on, mate."
Yeah, what caught me? I was thinking, Thursday night football. Yeah. Thinking, evening kickoff, midweek, 7:45. No,
yeah. Killed us.
When what was it? 5:30, 6 o'clock kickoff, something silly like that. And then caught me out, and I was out cycling actually at the time, and I got caught. Yeah, I was caught out. I thought, go out at like 5:30, 4:45. I'll be well all right for like an hour's cycle. I'll be all right by the time I get home. I was like, yeah. Then I see you guys in the old WhatsApp group. Yeah, we're playing this, playing that. I'm like, panic stations. But I got home 20 minutes. 20 minutes before
got a better workout than some of them Tottenham players did. In all fairness. So I did ask Sid last week with Simon, and we asked myself about Ndombele. And lo and behold, Nuno must have watched Ask Sid. See, I've got this thing. People watch Ask Sid or Sid Says or whatever, and whatever we talk about, it just happens, doesn't it? It's just like, hey! But we spoke about it last week about Ndombele, and I didn't watch most. I only watched after the second half. But from what I gather, he played quite well. Not 100%, but it's a step in the right direction. And a lot of people in our group and I think on Twitter and that, they were quite impressed with him. A couple of the skills that he done. I saw one in the second half, quite impressed. And now it's just a matter of getting him into full fitness, getting him into the team. And because we need him.
To be fair, although I only caught the last 20 minutes, I did see, I did catch up with some, I called it my highlights. And I did see a little bit from what Ndombele was, what he was doing. And to be fair to him, he was just doing what he did like last season. And it was very small clips, but it looked all right. Maybe the issue for him will be match fitness and match sharpness. That won't be there after one game in must be well over
April, I think.
March, April. Yeah, it must have been March, April.
Like that,
so again, something like here, there's no point in playing him now and not playing him sort of like against Chelsea, or start utilising him. He's got to have minutes on his belt. Otherwise, it's just a waste of talent and a waste of. Well, it's just a waste of a player, isn't it?
It is. But what do you call it? Yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. But we're just going to have to move on with that. However,
definitely.
Yeah. Today's program is all about a striker. Do we need a backup striker? From what we have seen at the beginning of the season, 3 games in. Scored 3 goals. Well, if you include yesterday, 5 goals. Harry Kane has he scored? Son scored.
I think
Kane hasn't scored, has he? Not in the league, he hasn't.
No, not in the league.
No, not in the league. He scored 3. We're not looking like we're going to score. Son is not Son is not the striker. He plays well as the winger or whatever. He's not an out-and-out striker. Harry Kane's not fully fit. He's not committed. His head's not there. He wants to play for Man City. This is all the excuses everyone's saying. I've done 6 days over the transfer window, and the amount of strikers that I actually reviewed and said, this guy's available, that guy's available, that guy's available. We were linked with Martinez, 70 million, which was never going to happen. Danny Ings came, so everybody else went. And so having this discussion yesterday, before I move any further, I'd like to welcome everyone that's joining Ask Sid tonight. Please ask your questions. I know there's a few already in the comments, and I will get to them very shortly. But we're getting towards this magical 1,000 subscribers. We're not far away, so please. Sid says, Ask Sid. Everyone, the whole group are saying, please subscribe. Get everyone that you know, get as many people to subscribe, follow, and get us to that magical 1,000. And once we're there, we move onwards and upwards. So please,
100%.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, as I was saying, Paxton Daka's gone to Leicester City. You know, we had discussing yesterday, I think, on the group, and I was chatting to a few people. I only found out yesterday on the telly. Freddie Canute is Paxton Daka's agent. This guy played for Tottenham. He played for West Ham. He played for Tottenham. He was loved at Tottenham. He played really well at Tottenham. A couple of seasons. He banged in the goals. So why are the hierarchy at Tottenham, Paratici, Daniel Levy, anyone like that, anyone who's got connection, they must still realise that Freddie Canute is his agent. Why didn't they try and knock him and say, listen, come on, Freddie, sort it out. Get him to Tottenham. Instead, we dilly-dallied and he ends up at Leicester. Okay, he's not. He started 1 or 2 games on and off the bench. He scored yesterday. I was watching it yesterday, but it was disallowed.
Did he score yesterday?
He did, but he got disallowed. Fraction, you know, one of them arms and toes and head, shoulders, knees and toes business. And he got it, but he got disallowed. But he looks like a good striker. Again, Jamie Vardy's their main striker. They've got Iniacho. And they've gone and spent money on Daka, right? He's not starting. However, what a player to have on the bench. Yeah, what a player to have. Who have we got? Scarlett. Yeah, and then but he can go there. He can do that. We'll do this. We'll do that. We'll play chess and move them all around. So my question is: do we need a second striker?
The obvious answer is yeah. I mean, everyone would love. However, and this is, I know there's people out there that say there's no such thing as a second striker or backup striker as a thing of what the media says or wherever it might be. I mean, let's be honest. You would love an alternative player that could fill in for Harry Kane, or it might not even be that we need a second number 9. What I think we probably do need is someone that can play anywhere, who is a goal scorer, that can play anywhere along that front three. So whether he plays, if he can play on the left wing, great. If he can play in Harry Kane's position, great. If he can fit in or if he can play on the right hand side, then awesome. But I don't know if with regards to the question, do we need a second striker? Do we need another number 9? I mean, obviously a different option is great, but I kind of think we need if we're going to go for a second striker, so to speak, I would like to see probably someone that's a little bit more of a utility man, someone that can play as a number 9 or can play out on the right wing, who is a goal threat and who can score goals. Because if you have a number 9, another Harry Kane. If you had another Harry Kane, I mean, Harry Kane's. If you brought in another number 9, you're not going to put Harry Kane out on the right, for example. You're only going to be able to play unless you change your system up and put 2 up front. But then you've got question marks as to where are you going to put Sonny, etc. So you could go with another number 9 and have 2 up front if things aren't working. But then it changes the dynamics of the rest of sort of like the midfield and the forwards, etc. But I don't know. The obvious and easiest answer to it would be I mean, having another option would be great, wouldn't it?
This is it, because I've seen the first 4 or 5 games we've seen. Right, we know Kane's not on it. We know Kane's either not match fit. People are saying his heart's not set on it. I don't know. I don't think he's personally. I think he will give 100%. But the reason I chose this today on Ask Sid is because I think a couple of days ago I read that Paratici and Daniel Levy are looking already for next summer for a new striker. Now,
I saw that.
Does that mean that they think Kane's not going to be around next summer? So they're already looking at players to bring in ready for next summer, or are they even going? And that's what my question was: are they, or are they looking at bringing someone in January? And the add-ons to that is we need a backup, because it's not happening. Harry Kane, for me, right at the moment, is a number 9 who is playing as a number 10 / number 8. He is not playing in his role. Now, prime example for me, and I don't know if you agree or not, is Timo Werner. They spent Chelsea, how much did they spend on him as an out-and-out striker? Because 2 seasons ago, he absolutely blitzed it wherever. Was he at Leipzig or wherever he was?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Blitzed it. And on that, they went and bought him, right, as an out-and-out striker. Last season, he missed everything. Even Sandro could have scored half the goals that he missed, right, as Harry Redknapp would say. What have they done? They went in the summer, offered 60-70 million for Lukaku, because Tuchel went to Dan Abramovich and said, I want a striker. Okay, he goes, here's 65 million. Don't want 65, not enough. All right. Sorry, mate, they've refused it. Tuchel's going, I want a striker. He's gone and spent 90 million on the striker, and look at him already. Wow, he's on fire.
Thing is,
number 9 all day long.
Yeah, the thing with Chelsea, they're backed by oil money, aren't they?
So I know they're backed by oil money, but you know what? I see what you're saying, right? But at the end of the day, they've gone and bought a striker, right?
I mean, you could argue Kane is our 90 million pound striker. We just need another. We need a Timo Werner.
We do.
A better version of him, or sorry, not a better version, because I do rate Werner. I think we need that version of him, but the version that's banging in goal, or was banging in goals in the Bundesliga. And I know you can compare the Bundesliga to the Premier League. It's not. You can't really compare it too much, because obviously the Premier League is completely different to the Bundesliga, etc. But still, Werner's he's not a bad striker. I mean, he's a great option to have, isn't he?
Right. So Cuva99, good evening. He's basically saying, is there any point signing a backup striker to Kane when we are barely able to get the ball into the box? I can't see Kane leaving until the summer anyway. That's right. He's not going to leave until the summer, because they already said that we're looking for a striker for next summer. But
I do, and this is where I say I kind of agree. Who's mentioned that? Is it Cuva 99? I do agree with his. I do agree with Cuva here. I don't think necessarily we need another sort of like another number 9 as such. We need another goal scoring threat in that front. If we're continuing to play 4-3-3, which it seems like that is going to be our main or our plan A this season so far, then we don't need another number 9. What we need is someone on that right hand flank. When Son's back fit, you've got Son, Kane, who we know when they're fit and raring to go, etc. They will bang goals, but it's that right flank. We don't have that sort of that version of Son or Kane on the right hand side, and I think that's what potentially we're lacking. Someone who, I mean, Son can create as well as he can score, whereas on that right flank, we just can't seem to score. I know we let Bale go, who was banging goals, but I mean, that whole Bale, that's a whole different debate for another day. But I think, me personally, if I was going for another forward, I'd want someone that can cover a number 9 as well as out on the right flank, and who is obviously not just someone that can create, but someone that can score as well. I think that's what we're missing, myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of in the comments here. There's another one here. Who looks more disinterested at the moment, Harry or Tungai? That's 13.
What are your thoughts on that? I don't think either of them are disinterested. I think what it is Kane hasn't had a pre-season. You can see that he hasn't been match fit for England, and he isn't. I don't think he's match fit or match sharp for a country or club. And I think he just needs minutes under his belt, and he will come back. He'll be amongst the goals. He just needs that September, October is probably what you could deem as his pre-season to a certain extent. Although it's not good for us, we need him to be sort of firing all cylinders. But I think we've just got to persevere and just. I think he will come good. It's one of his quality isn't gonna just stop scoring goals. It's just not.
Am I right in saying the last couple of seasons Harry Kane doesn't start firing until I think October-ish? He's always dry August, September, isn't he? He's always like there and thereabouts. But unfortunately, this time round, because of the Euros, he wasn't match fit before the Euros. He went into the Euros. Everyone, we got to the final, but he didn't start delivering until the knockout stages. Then we've had all this massive saga about should he stay or should he go.
Definitely.
And then he didn't get his move that he should have got, or did he not? I don't know, whatever. It was like EastEnders, weren't it, plots? And then
I agree.
And he started playing for us now, and we can tell he's not match fit, but we've got no option. We've got no one else that we can play. This is where a backup striker, even if we went and got Danny Ings or anybody like that, could have come in handy, because they can give him a bite. Just say, you know what, have a rest. We'll take you off. Like yesterday, they took him off on the hour mark, I believe. Again, Scarlett came on. He was throttled. He was no service whatsoever.
Boy, I like Scarlett. I've seen him a lot in the academy, and he is an absolute goal machine. I've seen him play last season throughout the FA Youth Cup. The lad is an absolute goal machine. However, there's a massive jump from academy football playing Premier League. You're playing against the best of the best in the country, and it's a massive difference from youth football to jumping up playing in the best league or one of the best leagues in the world. You've got to cut him some slack somewhere, haven't we? And we can't put, the expectations have to be, I think they just have to be realistic. And I mean, very much at the moment, he still looks like a young boy. It just needs time. Just give the lad time, and he will cut. Again, he's one of those who will come good.
Yesterday, there was a few clips, right, what they showed off TV. When I looked, I just had to do a double take. I'm like, am I watching kids football here? Because you know what I mean? He actually looked like a little boy who's lost with the big boys, and the shots of him, it just made him look like he's a 16-year-old kid. And I felt sorry for him because he's been chucked in. I
don't feel. I get what you're saying. I don't feel too sorry for him, because I mean, a lad at his age, he's 17. He's going to be absolutely buzzing being out there with the first team, play. Even though it's conference, he's going to be absolutely buzzing. The confidence that it'll give him should stand him in good stead for future. But I think you can't rely on him as a second striker or as an alternative or as a different option to Harry Kane. They're just in different leagues. And it's unfair on Scarlett to sort of. I mean, if anything happened to Kane, you can't rely on Scarlett. I mean, I just don't think it just wouldn't be fair on him unless you had literally surrounded by world-class players who could feed him. I wouldn't have any doubts about him putting the ball in the back of the net, even against Premier League opposition. I do highly rate his finishing. His finishing is just a special finisher, but being realistic.
See, this is the thing. There's where's the comment gone? From I think it was from Lloyd Hughes. I've lost it now, but basically what he's saying is, there it is. So he's saying the lack of creativity is there for all to see. That is currently more important than a backup striker. Now, we've had these discussions before within ourselves, and everyone, and even now on Twitter, everyone you say, I think Danny's got a comment down below, which I'll come to in a minute, but everyone's saying about creative midfielders. Yes, we're dying. But to answer this question, do you think getting a creative midfielder will be the solution rather than getting a striker, or do you think we should get both? I believe, my personal opinion is, if we get a creative midfielder, I still don't think it's enough, because Harry Kane drops too deep, right? He would need to be told that you have to start playing like Lukaku or Danny Ings or whatever. You stay up front. We've just brought in a creative midfielder. Now you go and do what you've got to do. By bringing in a creative midfielder, yes, it will open the avenues and it will give us a bit more creativity, because that's what we're lacking completely. But I still don't think that is the answer.
This is a difficult one, because Kane does. I mean, when you see him for England and his games at Spurs like last season, Kane as a number 9 just drops too deep, and he's basically dropping deep because we haven't got a natural sort of. We haven't had this. Last season, this season, we haven't had a natural number 10. Although I do think Ndombele can be that number 10, but Kane just needs to. If we've got Ndombele playing, if we do take up say we took up a formation of 4-2-3-1, or even if it was 4-3-3, and Ndombele played as the further advanced midfielder out of that mid 3, or if he played in that number 10 role, if we went 4-2-3-1, Kane then has to be told, like, we don't need you in the midfield, because if the ball does get sprayed through, or if there's a through ball, or if through the progression of play we do break the lines, if it's on either flank, you need Kane in the middle, or target man in the middle to aim for, or to look for. But if Kane's too far, if he's in a number 10 role, then you've got a box that's just empty or void of Spurs strikers, and those wingers are going to have to be like, well, I've got no one in a box, I'm going to have to try and beat a man, or you're going to have to rely on your opposite winger to hit the 18-yard box, hit the goal, or head towards the goal, and try and fill in for Kane. You just can't. It just can't be done. You have to have Kane further forward in that number 9 as a like you say, a Lukaku, or as a typical centre forward. You need you need his presence in the box. I mean, Kane in the box is far more dangerous for us than him outside the box. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's not rocket science. Football's it's a simple game, but sometimes
Jack Kinnicky, I'd sign PSV's Cody Gakpo or Mönchengladbach's Marcus Thuram as a backup number 9 stroke winger. Both can play both positions. There we go.
I like Thuram.
Thuram. Good evening, Danny. Good evening, boys. Hope you're all well. Question: who at Paxton Road would be the best signing for our new creative midfielder? Best signing, or who at Paxton Road would be the best? I'm out. I'm a goalkeeper, so I'm out. I can't be the thingy. Do you know who I would? Do you know who I think is a wicked creative midfielder from Paxton Road Group?
Good.
Darius.
Darius. I was going to say Darius.
He talks the talk. He walks the walk. Yeah. See, his hair's always in different styles. Right. He'll probably.
Darius is going to be loving this. I'm sure he'll put if he's not working, I'm sure he'll watch it. But if he's not, he'll watch later. He'll be loving this.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll be like, put me in the number 10 role.
I can see him stood there just spraying the ball.
He'd be absolutely loving this right now. I mean, I'm a centre back, so
you'd be centre back.
Yeah, I'm one of those who put me in the number 10 role.
Yeah, I think
I'll be looking. I'll be making sure the back line's pushed up behind me.
I think Shane would be like the centre back, giving the orders and putting it. Well, again, centre mid or centre back. Actually, no, I'd have him centre mid because he'd be there giving all the the team talks, the preps before the shout.
No, do you know what? I think Sam just looks like a fullback. He reminds me of a fullback. I think it'd be one of those that just like bombs up and down.
Just shouting instructions at everyone. And Cristiano Ronaldo, when he comes out from Man United, he's always the last player at the back. And when he comes, he does that jump up at the top, the roof. Sam would be the one who'd be there going with his comb, just brushing his beard and his tash. But
I think Sam would be our fullback.
Yeah.
You'd be the keeper. I'd be our centre back. Darius would be the number 10. We'd have to have Jodie up front.
Yeah, Jodie. Yeah.
Jodie have to be our striker.
She could be, couldn't she?
It should be loving that striker, being deemed the striker.
So we've got Darius Ali. Yeah.
He's going to be absolutely loving this. He'll be loving this.
Reckons he sees Darius as a wing back. Danny's saying that he'd take him. Take him in what way, my fella? Are you taking him in your team or are you taking him off?
I love that, Danny. Cracking me up.
Yeah. Oh, Steve Williams said he wanted Darius as the new manager. Listen, he can be player manager. He can be player manager all day.
Hey, Darius talks a good game, to be fair to him. He does. He knows his stuff, to be fair to Darius. He's.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going off topic here now. Danny, what are you doing? You're taking us off topic here.
Good question, though. Great question.
It's a great question, yeah. But again, come on, people. I know you're all watching. Comments, please. Do you think a backup striker, and who would be your ideal backup striker? Considering Paratici wants who he wants, Daniel Levy is the one who's pulling the strings and the purse, and unfortunately, he's got one of them little small purses that the women only have a little one that only carries whatever they need to carry in that little bag. I'm not going to say what it is, but just a little thing. And he's got that bag where he's not going to put no money out of there, right? He's like that woman on a date. Sorry, the one that doesn't want to pay and finds the fella who's got all the dosh. But unfortunately, Daniel Levy hasn't got the dosh.
And then she realizes, actually, I don't like this guy. So she makes the excuse. I'm just going to go to the toilet. Just bear with me 5 minutes. And there she is, trying to climb through the toilet window and does a runner, leaving the poor bloke to foot the full.
Absolutely.
Full bill.
Eddie Ryan's got an option here. Why not play Scarlett with Kane?
I think. See, I'm surprised that we didn't try that yesterday. Yeah, I think. Bear with me a second. I just got a cough. Okay. I think great idea. I think that would have maybe not against Rennes, because I mean Rennes, they're not a bad outfit. From what I saw in the last 15-20 minutes, they're a well drilled side. And I mean, you could argue the Europa Conference League, etc., but they're not. I was quite impressed with from the highlights that I did see and the last 20 minutes that I did see. I thought Rennes, they didn't look. I mean, you could argue, we made them look better than what they perhaps were, but they were certainly well organised and they were well drilled. So to get in the grand scheme of things, to get a point away from home, I'll take that all, especially in our current sort of situation where we've got injuries, etc. I'll take it all day long. But going back to that point, should Kane and Scarlett play together for Spurs in the Europa Conference, or if we're playing the League Cup or the FA Cup, and we've got a relatively sort of I say an easy fixture. There's no easy fixture really, but if we've got a fixture that we should feel comfortable putting out a B team, then why not try Kane and Scarlett? I mean, again, for Scarlett, he'd be buzzing. He'd be on cloud 9, and it'd only, again, if you had Kane, if Kane's in his ear, talking to him throughout the game, sort of like just giving him the guidance, telling him where to run, etc. If he got fed in, Scarlett would score. And for Scarlett in terms of his development and for him to progress and stuff, who better than to have Harry Kane, the England captain, sort of leading the line next year?
To learn from, absolutely.
Yeah, but in the Premier League, nah.
No, I mean Lloyd is saying here, we'll never know if Scarlett is ready for the Prem until he gets games. He might be the answer. Do you know what? I totally agree. He might be the answer. He might be the Mason Greenwood.
Yeah,
he might be the one but all he needs is the problem we've got. Man United, Man City, everyone throws in the youngsters, right? If they think they've got talent, they throw them in and they let them show their talent. The problem we've got is we say we've got talent, but we don't want to throw them in. We don't want to throw them in at the deep end. We don't want to throw him anytime. Like Scarlett should be starting now, regardless of what it is. He should be starting. If it means, like you said, play Kane with him to get the experience, then be so. Because otherwise, he's never going to get that opportunity. Because like what you're saying, he's never a Prem player. He'll never be a Prem player because he's never going to get the starts.
No, but I mean, how many 17-year-olds? I mean, how many 17-year-olds get starts currently in Europe?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you've got Bellingham, but he's playing in Bundesliga. Midfield. And he's midfield, isn't he? So it's a completely different. You've got experience around you that can help you, guide you. You've got centre backs probably talking in your ear 24/7. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a completely different position. But I mean, apart from the only person I can think of who burst onto the scene as a striker at, I think he might have been, was he 16 at the time? 15, 16. Was Rooney. But when you look at Rooney, the guy, well, at the time, the kid looked like a bloke. And he was, he had defenders bouncing off him. And he was, I mean, just a freak of nature, wasn't he, at 16?
Yeah.
He certainly didn't look like a boy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but in all fairness and in all seriousness, what people were saying about Rooney at that age, right? They're saying that about Scarlett, right? The only difference was Everton took the gamble and they played him. They said, you know what, we've got nothing to lose here. Let's play him. And on his debut, he scored that wonder goal, and then he just went from there. The problem we've got at Spurs is we all know we're crying out. What we've got, which Everton never had then, is we've got Harry Kane, right? Now, no team in the world or every team in the world would want a Harry Kane. Look at Man City, right? Once you've got him, you don't even think about another striker because he is your main man. Now, if Harry Kane went to Man City, I guarantee you now, Pep would have said to him, you're my number 9, you're my goal scorer. Kevin De Bruyne is going to pass them to you. This is where you stay. Do not pass this area and you score your goals. And he will. But for at Tottenham, the lack of creativity, not only in midfield, we just haven't got a midfield decent enough. He thinks he has to come back. Yeah. Right? Okay, you can do that if you've got Son available. If Son's not available, then you can't do it. And this is why I said today, let's talk about, do we need a backup striker? Because 4 games in, 1-3, we lost against Crystal Palace. Now, if we don't score on Sunday and Harry Kane doesn't score on Sunday, it's going to be another mass debate. Yeah, about stop laughing. Yeah, it's going to be another debate, right? Some people might do what I just said, right? Some people might do that, but in fact, I think some people were doing that over in Ndombele yesterday. But anyway, some people will question Harry Kane again on Sunday, right? Then they'll start questioning Nuno, and it's going to be Nuno out. We're going to have all that kind of business, right? We should have got a striker in the summer, and I said that a long time ago. We should have got a creative midfielder in the summer. It's never happened. It's not happened. We're now 4 games in, and people are now saying, well, hold on a second. You know, look, blah, blah, blah. Why have Paratici and Daniel Levy decided 4 games in, let's look for a striker in the summer? For next summer, yeah? What's going on there?
Well, is it for next summer or is it for January? We're not.
They said summer. They're saying summer.
Do you reckon summer?
But I've got an inkling that if it doesn't get better, I think they're going to look at getting someone in January. But the problem is, who are we going to get in Jan? There's not going to be anyone available.
Well,
unless you got the free ones.
Well, this is the thing. So any of those players that are free agents in the summer, you might find that if they're going to be gone for nothing in the summer, they might in January, if the offer's right, they might just be like, you know what, we can't afford to just let him go for nothing. So yeah, take him. We'll accept. I don't know, half or I don't know, 1/3 of what his valuation would be if he was buying him and he was in contract and stuff. But I mean, as we talk about this, I'm more of the opinion that the goals, we've got the players who can score goals. We've got players who can score goals. I just think we need more creativity.
Yeah. That's going to be...
Because there's no point in having another striker if you haven't got people that are going to be able to create for them. Like, if you haven't got the service, your striker is only as good as your service. If you've not got the service, your striker is just going to be stood there sort of twiddling his thumbs, watching the world go by sort of thing. Like Kane did at Palace. I know you could argue, well, we expected more from Kane. You should have put in maybe a better shift, etc., etc. But what service did he have? Yeah. If you haven't got the service, you can't. It's hard to like criticize Kane, sort of like if you haven't got the service. Whereas if we had the service going into the strikers, then we could be like, well, hold on a minute. Kane's getting the service, he's getting the chances, but he's just not putting them away, or he's not showing that he's not showing enough intent to want to put the ball away. And maybe then you could question, well, is his head with us or is his mind elsewhere? I personally think his head is with us. I just think we've just got to hit the nail on the head with what the answer is in terms of us just scoring more goals. Is it creativity? Which I think it is obvious it's the creativity. But
I think we'll have to do an Ask Sid on creativity and get people to put in which player, if they could have a choice in January or in the summer of one creative midfielder, who would they want? So Ask Sid, probably next week we can do that. Paul Always Spurs says Rooney played in teams with width, crosses, regular opportunity. Until Spurs play FFF, front foot football, Scarlett doesn't have a hope. I think Harry Kane doesn't have a hope if we don't play FFF. Because...
And also, football was played slightly different, wasn't it? Like, when you look at when did Rooney burst onto the scene? Was it, I can't remember how long ago it was. Was it back in 2000?
Let me just double check.
I can't. But I mean, back when Rooney burst onto the scene, you was playing with
2017.
20 what?
20, no, that can't be right.
That's probably when he retired, wasn't it? Probably not far off from when he retired. But I mean, Everton played essentially when Rooney burst into the scene. Striker, or should I say, the Premier League predominantly played with two up front.
Yeah, 2002 he made his debut.
2002, yeah. So you had two strikers, didn't you? And you had your sort of you had I loosely say it, but a 4-4-2 type formation.
Yeah.
I use that in a loose sense, but
you had
the wingers, you had the crosses into the box, you had that service, whether it's coming through the middle or coming from the wings and stuff. But like now, everyone seems to be playing either one up front or three up front, depending on whether you go 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. That seems to be the most popular sort of. Or you've got your sort of 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, depending on however you play it. But it's
you know what, we can have this debate going on forever and ever and ever. So I think I will cut it short now because I think we've done 38 minutes. But my final question to you, I always start off with that same question, and I'm going to ask you that same question again. Do we need a backup striker in January? And I want a simple yes or no.
Sid.
It's got to be done. We've discussed it. We've debated it. So now the question is, do we, yes or no?
I would say we need another forward, another goal scoring forward. Not necessarily a number 9. I want a forward who can play anywhere. Like if we're playing in a 4-3-3 across the front three. Maybe not so much worry about whether he can play on the left because we've got Hill, we've got Son, you've even got Session if needed. And I mean, you could argue that depending on the formation, you've got Reguilon who can bomb up and down on that flank. But I would say, if you're going to ask me the question, do we need another striker? My answer would be no. I don't think we do.
Okay.
But what I do think we need is another forward, a goal-scoring forward who can play either in that number 9 or out on that right flank.
Cool.
Maybe I'm being greedy, and maybe I'm wishing for a lottery win. But that, I think, if we could find someone like that, then I think we'd see a difference.
Cool. So Mike thinks we don't need a striker, we need a forward. Everyone who's watching, I'd like to thank everyone that's watching tonight. Thank you very much. Kuva, Kevin, Sean Snow, Jack Kinnicky. I've got Past Paul, Always Spurs.
Just seeing the comments coming up.
Yeah.
Say Maximum. Yeah, see, great.
We had
great. He'd be a great option.
Exactly. Somebody said in Traore. Now, remember, I did that survey 2 weeks ago, and I asked everyone out of the three, who would you want? Did you want Saw, Saint Maximin, or Traore? And Maximin smashed it. He absolutely smashed it. So he probably would be ideal for us. But you know what? It's do we need a striker or a forward? This one's like a winger kind of player. But again,
see, there's another comment in the chats about Diaby.
Yes.
Again,
Diaby.
Yeah, I'm sure he plays out on the right flank for Bayern, doesn't he?
Yes.
I'm sure it's him.
I think it is.
I'm sure it is him who Kevin's on about. And again, it could be a great. I mean, he would be a great option. But these players, why are they going to leave it? This is my other point. Why are they going to leave these clubs to come into Tottenham?
Yeah.
I mean, there was heavy talk about Danny Ings, wasn't there? But what's the point in Danny Ings coming and just? I mean, you're not going to play Kane and Danny Ings. Very rarely you're going to play them both at the same time, because you'd have to change the whole formation, the whole dynamics of the team would have to change if you're going to play them two up front. You're not going to play them both if you're going to play 4-3-3. You're not going to play Ings and Kane, because who's going to go out on the right flank? It's not going to be Ings, because he's not exactly blessed with pace, and Kane's certainly not blessed with pace. So, do you know what I mean? So I don't think Ings would have been the right option, but
it would have been. Paul Always Spurs says, backup, no. Different option striker, yes. Bang on Hotspur hustler. So, on that note, I'm going to put it out, and we're going to do a Twitter poll. You can even leave your comments down below. Do you prefer a backup striker or a forward? Yeah? Backup or a forward? Leave your comments in the boxes down below, and I'll set up a Twitter poll, and on next Friday's show, I'll see what the majority of people want. Do you want a backup striker or do you want a forward? And that's that for this evening. I'd like to thank Mike. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. Everyone knows where to find you, but you can tell everyone if you want to go for it.
So you'll see me here, Paxton Road. I'm either on with Sid or with Sam, whether it's previews, post-match, talking points, which is every Tuesday. We're sort of
tomorrow, won't we? Preview
tomorrow. Preview for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday's game against Chelsea. We'll do the preview tomorrow, probably around about lunchtime. I'm obviously on here, Paxton, there'll be myself. Are you on there, Sid?
I should be on there tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm not. I've got to go on an eating tomorrow. So
okay. Certainly Sam will be hosting everyone. So
I'll try.
So we'll be. I think it'll probably be 12 o'clock that we jump on and do the preview for the Chelsea game. So you find me on here. I'm normally on here. So
centre back. Our centre back will always be here. I've mentioned it before in between the shows, but I'll just put a quick little reminder for everyone. Like I said, we're almost up to 1,000 viewers, so please subscribe, like, comment, and share it out to everyone, anyone, whoever you know. Get them out, get the dog on the lead, take the lead off, put a little sign on it, let it run around, telling everyone that Paxton Road, we need you. So it's been wonderful tonight. hope everyone has a wicked Friday and enjoy your Saturday. And then up the Spurs on Sunday and give it to Chelsea.
Oh, let's hope. Let's hope.
Let's hope. That's me. I'm out. Mike.
Yeah. See you later. Cheers, guys.